Hello everybody, welcome to episode 11, Bushcraft Dave. Out on another big walk. This is one of my favourite ones. This is a beautiful part of the world that we've come to quite a lot. Recently we found a fantastic campsite that we absolutely love in the village of Monyash behind me. And so this is a place we have come to a lot. And we will come to a lot again in the future. Absolutely beautiful part of the world. And today I'm doing walk number 7. It's called Lathkill Dale from Monyash. Absolutely beautiful walk. It's not a massively long walk, it's about 4 miles. It's one that we've done with the 2 little bushcraft juniors, and it's been absolutely fine for them to do. The only thing I would say is, the weather's a bit cold and gloomy today. If this was a super wet day, it might be a slightly more awkward walk. There's a bit that we'll get to later on in the walk where we end up having to go down some rocks, which obviously if it was a wet day it would be incredibly slippery, and so you do need to take it nice and steady. We'll see what it's like when we get there today. I'm hoping it'll still stay a little bit dry. And I've got a fantastic dish I'm going to make on my Trangia today. I'm going to make a chili con carne. I've not got rice with me. We're going to have it with a wrap. But it's going to be a good one. So stay tuned for that coming up later on in the video. But for now, I'm going to enjoy taking in the surroundings. Having left Monyash behind me, heading now to go and enjoy Lathkill Dale. Following the limestone way. All these gates have taken some serious hammer. Absolutely battered and bruised. So the limestone way is going to be something that I'm going to be walking later on in the summer. So I'm going to be filming that around about late July, early August. If you go back to the very first video that I did, episode 1, I did talk about that all these walks that I'm doing at the minute are the training really to do that. But what I found really interesting with hindsight now is that when I planned that trip, I looked at sort of the first day with it being an 8-mile walk, which is still a long way, but now I look at it and think an 8-mile walk should be easily doable in the morning. So with hindsight, certainly at some point when I plan to do a walk of the rest of the limestone way, if I'm feeling as fit as I am at the minute, I think I'll plan to be a bit more ambitious. Maybe do 12-mile days, 15-mile days. We'll see. Maybe I'll be grateful of only having to do 8-mile or 5-mile days. And it started to rain. See ya. So this is a level 3 walk from the book. Although interestingly, when I put it in on my route planner, it usually tells you sort of the difficulty of the walk. And all of the other ones I've done so far have, on the app, called it an intermediate walk. This is the first one that's called itself an easy. And it is a pretty straightforward walk. The bit that you just saw me coming down, when there was loads of rocks and we were going pretty much down, if it's wet, then that's particularly difficult, because obviously all of the exposed rocks will just become slippy. So I can see why this probably would be a level 3 walk. And also because you can't really see, but because of the stuff that I'm walking on, it's not particularly flat. There's lots of big rocks that stick out. Obviously there's a chance of you twisting your ankle and stuff like that. And I can already feel, because I haven't got my walking socks on today, couldn't find them. So because I haven't got my walking socks on, I think there's a good chance by the end of this journey, with all of the twisting and turning that my feet are going to do in my shoes, I can imagine that I might well end up developing a blister out from today. But this little journey through the woodland, particularly pretty. I thought I'd take a quick stop here. This lovely cave. And I'd love to tell you what the cave's called, but I've just come to quite a sad realisation. I've lost my walking book. I have lost the Collins Ramblers Guide to the Peak District. I had it in my pocket, just sticking out my pocket. I normally carry it in my hand or I stick it in my bag when I'm walking around. I stuck it in my pocket today, and I have no idea when it's dropped out, but it's gone. Sad times, guys. It was an old version. It was a version from like, I don't know, 2010 or something like that. It was an old edition. And I did want to get the new one. I wanted to pick up the new one anyway, but I didn't intend it to be in this fashion. And I'd literally just the other day sellotaped the pages back in to that old book. to try and just see if I could make it last all the way through to the end of these 30 walks. And I'm on walk 7 and it's gone. And I could walk back, but I've covered quite a few miles and I genuinely haven't even got a clue where it would have been. It might have been on the rocks when I was coming down. I'm not sure. I mean, it's possible somebody's got a free book now with a few notes in saying things like, don't go on this walk with a kid because it's hard work. Sad times, everybody. Sad times. But in the next video, it seems like we'll be seeing the more up-to-date edition of the Guide to the Peak District. Oh, Bushcraft Dave, you wally. Never mind. It's a lovely walk though. I'm enjoying the walk. It's fortunate that I've done this one before because I don't need the book at all. Currently walking. Can you see all this? It's wonderful. I'm sure a geography teacher would be able to start telling you about outcrops and screes and stuff like that. I ain't got a clue. Maybe some of my my geography teacher friends need to give me a bit of an education in some of these rock formations. Alexi, give me a lesson, mate. I need to know. But it's beautiful. This is the Lathkill Dale Valley, and it's a nature reserve. So, you know, really trying to encourage the wildlife in. It's beautiful, and it's cloudy today. Not that you can necessarily tell, but it is cloudy, and it's lovely, wonderful still wonderful. I'm just trying to think now, because I'm on the last bit of the journey. I've probably only got about maybe a mile and a half to go, something like that. Not a clue. No book, not a clue, but I've got about a mile and a half to go, I would say, because I'm well on the way back to Monyash. I'm just trying to think on the way back if there is somewhere suitable for me to set up camp and cook. I'll figure it out, but for now, oh, there's another, why? Right, hang on, I'm going to get this right, first time. But for now, I'm heading that way. He can point in the right direction sometimes. Leave Lathkill Dale behind. Come away from Lathkill Dale, but you get some information about the things that are going on. Nature reserve. I am here, just about to leave it, but I've been walking all along that mainly. In fact, I came across the bridge here, so my route came in along this bit across the bridge. We followed that along here, but I didn't see there was a waterfall that way. Something to explore next time I'm there with the kids. That'll be good. Okay, so far I've just got, it's about half a small onion. Just cooked away a little bit just to make it start to go a little bit soft, probably about 4 or 5 minutes. And then I've got, in this little pot, I've got about 1/4 of a red onion chopped up. I'm going to forget some of the ingredients that I've put in here. There's maybe like effectively half a clove of garlic, but I've been using garlic granules for a while now just because it's easier. I've got about, I'm going to say about a teaspoon of mild chili powder and cumin, about 1/4 of a teaspoon of cumin, 1/4 of a teaspoon of paprika, and that's going to go in now. That's going to cook for about 4 to 5 minutes again, just to soften the red pepper and to get those spices going. Now this is only the first of a few ingredients that I've brought out with me to make a chili con carne, which I'm going to serve in a tortilla wrap with some guacamole, sour cream, grated cheddar cheese. It's going to be absolutely delicious. And I'm sure for those of you that have seen my videos in the past, we all know what's going to happen as soon as I start getting more and more ingredients in there. No doubt it's going to end up going over the side, but I've tried to be pretty careful this time with the dish that I'm making, really scaling everything back to just enough for one person. So because this Trangia stove is suitable for cooking for 1 to 2 people, hopefully we shouldn't have an issue with things being too big and going over the side. But it's already smelling great. I can already smell the paprika, the chili, the cumin starting to heat up. And because this chili is going to cook for a long time, I don't even mind those gnarly bits on the base of the pan. It's all going to add lovely smoky flavour later. Okay, and into there, it's had it's about 4 or 5 minutes. Into there, I've brought with me 125 grams of some lean minced beef. So we'll get that in and we'll brown off all of that mince. This is definitely one of the things that could easily get chucked everywhere, so I'm gonna take some care over that. In fact, I think what I'll do, in order to brown this nice and quickly, is I'll just take the simmering off for now. So we just increase the temperature. Again, with this bit, it's probably about 5 minutes of browning. Really want to give it a good cook. So that's browned nicely. I'm going to get the simmering back on. Because what I don't want to happen next is I don't want this to cook too hard. I might even reduce the size of the simmering. Because now that that's browned, into there goes a mixture. I mixed it all up at home just to keep it simple, but in here I've got just one small vegetable stock cube, 75 mils of water, 1/4 of a tin of chopped tomatoes, salt and pepper, and 1/4 teaspoon of sugar. Oh, and about 1/2 tablespoon of tomato puree as well. I was just wondering what the thicker stuff was at the bottom, but yeah, I put some tomato puree in there as well. And ultimately now, I want to cook this with a lid on for about 20 minutes. So I'm going to make use of the Trangia multi-disc. It's got one of the grooves that we can use on this particular pan. So we'll stick that on the top. It'll just mean that it holds some of the heat in. We're going to simmer that for 20 minutes. And while that's simmering, I'm just going to enjoy sitting, enjoying this last bit of the evening sunshine and enjoying my beautiful surroundings. So this has had about 20 minutes now. Everything will be deliciously cooked through. The sauce has already got lovely and thick. It's at this point now that I'm going in with a quarter of a tin of red kidney beans, drained, rinsed. That wants about 10 minutes to also simmer away. Yeah, we've still got a bit of fuel left, we might be okay. All looking good. Well, this has had about 10 minutes now. I have been in and stirred it a couple of times just to kind of keep things moving. It is starting to stick at the bottom, but I think that's a good sign that it shows that the sauce is getting to the point where it's, you know, as I pull that away, it takes a lot longer for it to fill in the gap. So that's that nice thick sauce. Now, what it does say in the recipe that I was looking at, that I've been using, just a basic chili recipe, is it says that now it's got to this point, it's had the 10 minutes with the kidney beans in it, to just take it off the heat and let it sit for 10 minutes, which I think is a good idea anyway. Not just that it'll sort of deepen the flavours of the spices and the things that are going on in there, but it'll also mean that I'm not just putting red hot chili into my mouth, and I can also let the stove and everything have a bit of time to cool down so that I can start packing everything away. But I will let this cool down, have its 10 minutes off the heat, and then I'll show you what I plan on doing for serving it. So I've just laid out my waterproof coat just to give me a bit of a surface to make this next bit on. It's wrapped up in some foil, which I'll take away with me. I've got a couple of tortilla wraps, just plain white tortilla wraps. So I'll probably just need one of them. I brought the second one just in case, as I'm making this. If I ended up with more chili, I can make a second one. I've also got with me some sour cream in a little pot, which I'm going to be able to use. And I've also got in this other pot some grated cheddar cheese and some just shop bought guacamole. So I'll be able to put those together with the chili. Yeah, definitely think I'm going to be able to make a second one. That is tasty. Just had some off the spoon. And it is spicy. Okay, let's put some bits with it. Bit of the sour cream, which will really help start to cool things down. We'll put some guacamole on it. Again, it will cool it. And some lovely cheddar cheese. Should give me definitely enough for a second wrap, which is brilliant. So I'll fold these ends up. Maybe not so tight. And that's a pathetic effort, Dave. Come on, you can do better than that. Okay, let's fold that up. Fold that up. and let's try our best. Nope. No, I definitely don't have the required skills for this. So let's try this way. That's better. Perfect. I'm gonna have some mess everywhere, but it's my waterproof coat. And let's get tucked into this. Definitely if I was out on a big long full day hike where maybe I could cook something like this up on the middle of the day, knowing that I've got some left for later, or even thinking about it, if I'm there, if I've ready to camp out overnight, I could make this the night before, eat it that night. If I'm hungry, I could eat both bits, but anything that I had left over, certainly I could wrap it up and take it with me to have for my lunch the next day. Absolutely delicious. I'm going to enjoy this, absolutely destroy this, because I am hungry, and I've not got far to go, about half a mile. We'll see the last bit of the journey, and then that'll be it for this episode. So thank you, Firestarter Marshy. Superb stuff. If anybody else has got any ideas, please stick them in the chat, in the comments section, and I look forward to seeing what other ideas people come up with, see what else, other challenges we can come up with for the journey. Leave no trace, everybody. If you're out and about, whatever you're doing, take your rubbish with you and leave no trace. Well, thank you for joining me on today's adventure, episode 11, walk number 7 from the now lost but never forgotten Collins Ramblers Guide to the Peak District. Still mourning the loss of that one. Feel like a bit of a prune for having lost it on the journey. These things happen, unfortunately. But all in all, despite the down of losing my book, which I'll get a new one. I'll get a new one. Because I'm really enjoying these walks and I want to see it through to the end. So there's no way I'm giving up on walk 7. We're going to definitely get the rest done. So I'll get my new book. But there's been some successes today. That chili was absolutely fantastic. Bit of a masterstroke having the 2 tortillas, wrapping it up in the tin foil, because that other one, that's definitely going to be eaten today. I'll probably have it for my supper, or maybe I'll even see if Mrs. Bushcraft Dave or the Bushcraft Dave children want to have a bit of a munch on it. But I didn't spill anything out the pan this time, so that's a bit of a bonus. Unfortunately, I just have no idea how to roll something in that tortilla. I made a bit of a mess of that. Maybe I should have done a bit more research, watched a couple of videos or something, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have overfilled it. Maybe that was the thing. Maybe I just put too much stuff inside it. Super delicious though. Definitely one I'm going to be doing again, because that was such a good cook. Nice and easy, really. Like, other than just sitting there and letting it do its thing, I was really able to take in a lot of my surroundings this time. Sometimes the cooks that I'm doing, they end up being a little bit labour intensive, not in a bad way. I don't really mind. I love cooking. So, but this was a really enjoyable cook. So shout out again to Firestarter Marshy. Thank you for that suggestion. Sorry, just going through a gate. Ow. Yeah, absolutely brilliant dish. And next time out, walk number 8. I think I've done this one before with Mrs. Bushcraft Dave and the littlest, Bushcraft Dave Jr. We did it ages ago for some reason. My eldest, she wasn't around. Maybe she was doing something with school, or I don't know. But we took the little one out on this walk. I can't remember what it's called. I'd love to tell you. I haven't got the book. But it is around the village of Yulegreave. Maybe it's called like Yulegreave and the Lathkill Dales or something. You best have a look and watch the next one. Thank you so much for joining me. All of your kind words and comments are very, very much appreciated. Whether that be down below in the chat, or whether it be people who have spoken to me personally and told me how much they're enjoying the videos. I'm certainly loving making them, and to know that there's people out there enjoying watching them, well, it makes it even more worthwhile. So from Bushcraft Dave, signing off for today, and I will see you in the next one. Absolutely fantastic little cafe there. If you get a chance to visit Monyash at all, lovely little cafe. It's got a load of space inside, absolutely beautiful food. And then the Bull's Head, excellent ale. Looking a bit faded, the old Bull's Head, but the food is fantastic. There you go, 17th of May, date for your diary. Get yourself to the Bull's Head in Monyash. Absolutely beautiful little village square. And when we came here last year to the Bull's Head, absolutely heaving in there. So clearly a beautiful place. And we can see the church spire from the church that we started our journey at. All the way from Monyash. Oh, try and get over this stile. Oh, I'm getting too old for this.